Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you all know, I'm Blue NG. I'm a YouTuber based here in the city of Abuja. I'm also a makeup artist. So I decided to incorporate an interview section on my channel because I know it has been all about beauty, lifestyle and travels. So this new phase is going to be involving interview with different personalities. Yes, so I hope you guys would love this new phase of the channel, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe guys. So on today's video I have a very special guest, and she is no other person but
Nancy Abo.
Okay, so yeah, this is Miss Nancy. She's an amazing person, and so funny how we met. If maybe if the odds were not balanced, I would have not met Nancy, or I would have not known Nancy, but as God will have it, I was opportune to meet her. Yes, it was an opportunity. Regardless of the fact that I went so hard to render a service, like makeup service, as you all know, I'm a makeup artist, but I say it's an opportunity because so far I have learned a lot from Nancy. Like, I have learned so much. So I just know you will learn something from this interview today. So stay till the end. Do not move. Stay glued to your screen. So I wrote down a couple of questions that she's going to be answering for us today. And feel free to leave your comments, your questions in my comment section. And I'm sure she would like, or she would love to answer you afterward. So our first question will be an introduction. So I'd like you to introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me to your channel. I mean, I understand this is another of your family, kind of.
Yeah.
It's good to be here. My name is Nancy Abo, and I'm 32 years old. In October, I'm an entrepreneur and a God lover.
Okay. Please, emphasis on the God lover, guys. So what you do for you?
I'm a fashion designer. I make clothes, all kinds of apparel, couture dresses, uniform costumes, anything fashion.
Would you term yourself a successful woman?
Well, the word successful, to be a successful person means different things to different people. And for me, being successful is so for someone who does something they love and is great at it. So I love what I do, and I believe I'm good.
Yeah.
What I do. So if you think I'm successful, well,
I would say she's successful. Don't mind Nancy. Nancy is just trying to be modest and humble. She is successful. Okay. So what do you owe your success story to? Put it in mind, God first.
well, I'll put God first, God second, and God third, God fifth, and keep going.
Infinity.
God, exactly. So, but after God, I owe my success story to my resilience, to my strength, to my ability to even start up in the first place. The fact that I dared to start is something I owe my success story to, because if I didn't start, I wouldn't be where I am today. So yeah, my resilience, my strength, and I also owe my success story to my family, my partner, very important. He's a very supportive person, and my friends too. Those who encouraged me when I first started. Without them, I wouldn't be here today. So
That's so mushy. Okay, so just give us a brief on your startup story.
okay, when I started fashion, I wasn't entirely ready. Though I started planning my exit from working from real estate for about a year or almost 2 years, because I was learning fashion while I was working. But at some point I just thought I needed to start up, because if you keep waiting for the perfect timing, it will never come. So I just thought I needed to start. I wasn't feeling entirely ready, not just because of resources, but there's always this anxiety of what if. I mean, you're leaving a job where you're getting
Sure,
a
your salary,
exactly, and you're leaving that for something you're not exactly sure of. But I had to dare to start, and yes, daring to start is one thing I would always encourage people to do, dare to start. Then I started with just one sewing machine, one weaving machine from my sitting room. And today I have over 30 sewing machines and other kinds of machines. So
Okay, so just draw in a little for us, because like the startup, yes, we know most people start from their house and everything. Like we want to go in it a little bit. Like when you first moved into a shop, like how was it for the first, let's say 3 months, 6 months? Like how was it for you?
okay, in what aspect? Setting up or
Setting up, financing. Were you not scared? Like what if nobody finds me? What if I don't? How would I raise my rent the next year and all that?
okay, from starting from my house, I built a little bit of client base.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's something about good services. People always refer people to you.
Yeah.
And of course, if you put yourself out there in terms of marketing your products, you would also get a new prospects and all. So from my house, from one sewing machine, one weaving machine, I got House 12 because we're in House 12. And yes, my business name, by the way, is House 12 Apparel.
Isn't it obvious?
So I got, we use one of the rooms here as the factory before we moved out because we needed a bigger space and we're expanding. So I got more weaving machine, more buttonhole machine, what is it called, embroidery machine and the rest of it. I just needed, but I didn't do all of that at once. I got 5 sewing machines, 5 extra sewing machines, and I got 1 more weaving machines. And from there, our demand kept increasing. And the more the demand, of course, you need to, exactly. So I added more machines, and before you know, now we have an academy. And of course, in the academy, we have over 25 machines.
Guys, it's like a fortress, like an estate. Like when I mean an estate, it is like departments of departments of departments. I'm not kidding. Like, don't worry, you will receive a tour of this place very soon. Okay, so financing your startup, what was it like?
Okay, so initially, when I started up, it was just me, from my house, and at some point I knew I wanted something bigger. I wanted to, in terms of location, I wanted to move to town because right now, our location is Kubwa. But if I did, the resources, like what I used in getting and setting up this place, would have just been my rent, or maybe not even up to in the center of Abuja. And then I felt like as a startup, I don't think I need to put in that much, in my location and all of that. Where I am is not bad, and with good marketing and thank God, people will come to you, and we deliver things to people without even meeting them. I take virtual measurements, so I don't see the need to go and put in as much money as I had to at the time in the center of Abuja. So I put the words out there, like I developed a business plan and looked for a partner, somebody who was willing to invest, because not that I couldn't have done it alone, but I wouldn't have done this much alone, and I knew I needed much more than what I could do at the time. That was how I feel. That was how ready I was.
The dreams are really big.
Exactly. So I had to try to get a partner, and fortunately I did get a partner, and here we are. We started with this building, and now we have another building. As the business progressed.
Advice to someone who is starting up their business?
Okay, I know it's a very hard or harsh economy, but regardless, people are starting up businesses, and you too can. What I would say is try and learn the skill of any business you want to go into. Acquire knowledge is very, very important. It's very key. When you do, start up from wherever you are and with whatever you have. In fashion, for instance, You can start off with tabletop machine. You don't have to have an industrial machine or even the butterfly machine to start up. You can start with tabletop machines and even one machine actually. You can make ready to wear and send out from where you are. People don't have to come to you, probably because you don't have the phone to have a physical address. So you can do an online business. Thank God for the invention of social media and all that, social media marketing. So you can have your presence online, then you can actually sell online until you raise enough capital to have a physical store. So now people don't really have much of an excuse. So it's gone are the days where you say you must have a store before you can. If you have somewhere you lay your head and you have power, no matter how epileptic, you can start up something from where you are. So just start. Like I said, I started from my sitting room and I'm here today. If I did not start from my sitting room, I probably wouldn't be here. So
please, there was something you mentioned, like, so you raise enough capital to like get a physical store. But does it mean if you have someone to fund your capital, like your startup capital, is it okay to take the risk to start up?
Yes, but I would advise you also gain experience. Like, don't
the experience.
Yeah, with the experience, definitely. You can. Some people even go for loans, but personally, I wouldn't subscribe to loans because they put you under pressure, and most of the time it's frustrating. Most people who take loans end up going out of business because they get so frustrated and under pressure that sometimes almost everything coming in is going towards repayment of loan, right? So it's better if you get what is it called, somebody that is funding in terms of partnership. That's a great idea because you people would start up this business, set it up. As it's running, you are sharing profit after tax. So it's something the person is saying, after expenses at the end of the month and everything, this is the profit. So you are sharing it depending on the sharing formula you people agree on, whether it's 60, 40, 30, 70, 50, 50, whatever sharing formula, you agree on, you'll be sharing that profit accordingly.
Okay, so please also talk about like finance management for a business, for a startup business.
Okay, I would say if whatever you make at the end of the month, I would advise that you share it into three. Yeah, this is for SMEs, share it into three. And what I'm saying, when I say whatever you make at the end of the month, it means profit after tax. Profit, whatever money you accumulate or gather after you have done expenses, paid salaries, right? Now, paid for utility bills and everything. When you've done that, whatever is left, you share it into three or divide it into three. One part can go to you as salary. If you have a partner, you people can share from that one part, or you can share 50%, then 25-25. Now, 25% can be saved for the rent. That's if you're paying rent for your business. If you don't own the place, the other 25% can go for products. Maybe if you want to buy some products or any of those things. There are new things that come these days that can aid your jobs and make it easier. If you want to invest in that, fine. You can call that some kind of little expansion, or maybe you want to do small remodeling or something. Half of it can go for that, right? Then the other half, like I said, can go for buying products or anything you might need, to continue for the following month. So yeah, that's.
You pick a 9-to-5 over business or business over a 9-to-5?
Business over a 9-to-5, of course.
Over and over again.
Over and over again. Over and over again, Yes, honestly, because when you're doing your own business, it's like your destiny is in your hands. It's like having the chance to make big decisions for you. When you work with somebody, sometimes you have a great idea, but you can't force it down their throat. No matter how good that idea is, it's either they take it or they leave it. It's either they want it or they don't want it, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So, but when you run your own business, you have the opportunity to make good decisions. That's if you're a good decision maker, if you're a good thinker, and so you can always make decisions for yourself. You can always, grab the bull by the horn and do things for yourself, do big things, make big moves, But when you're working for somebody, you're building their own dreams. What happened to yours? What about yours? Yeah. And then the most important part of it for me is being an employer of labor. Imagine contributing to your economy. Isn't that beautiful?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So all of us, if a large chunk of us are employers of labor, will have less unemployment issues, right? And we'll have a lot of people who are gainfully employed. So yeah, that is it. And then people also mistake working for yourself as waking up when you like and going to bed when you like, going to work when you like and not going to work when you don't like. I'm sorry, if you're disciplined, as a matter of fact, you work more when you own your own business because there's a lot to do. I mean, when you're working, there's a lot. I'm not saying you're competing with anybody, but you need to catch up.
Yeah.
The world is advancing. There are people who are doing what you're doing in a better and bigger way. You want to be one of those people. So definitely you're going to be working. And sometimes this working is not just physical, mental work. Know this. Some of us might even be home, but we are not sleeping like you think. We're not sleeping. We're not watching Netflix. We're not Netflixing and chilling. No. Some of us, our TVs don't come up in months. We don't get to turn it on. We don't even remember sometimes we have TVs. Because there's a lot of online, online tutorials, to watch. There's a lot of online training to do. I'm also a fashion, tutor. So sometimes you want to improve on how you teach your students and all of that. There's so much you can do with your time. So don't think, if you're one of those with the mindset of, I want to own my own business so I can go to work when I like, so I can wake up late. My darling, by the time you start it, that sleep would flee. This fear of failing will not even let you sleep the way you want to sleep anymore. So please, come with the mindset that you want to give this your 100. Come with the mindset that there's a lot you need to do. Come with the mindset that you need to be one of the best in your games.
Okay, that's very, very good. Hope you guys have heard that. Okay, so we'd like to know one challenge you did face when you were starting up and one challenge you currently faced as an entrepreneur.
Okay, when I was starting up, I started my business, let's say about a year plus before the pandemic. Yes. And when I started, thankfully I already had a client base, and of course referrals and all of that. But it got to a point during the pandemic. Before the pandemic, there are actually things I, experienced, providing almost everything for myself. We live in a country where you have to do things for yourself. You have to provide electricity for yourself because we don't get good hours of electricity, so you have to provide power for yourself. I work with power a lot, so yeah, I can't function without it. So I have to provide that for myself. A lot of things that government should actually do for us, we get to do by ourselves. And you still see yourself paying taxes. Yes, you have to pay taxes, even regardless. So it was really difficult running diesel at 800 at some point. Before it got to 800, though, it got to 800 I think in 2002. Yeah, but before 2002, then running diesel was around 350, but still 350 was a lot because I was using, there was a time that my diesel receipt used to run to up to 500,000 for a month. Did I say a month? 3 weeks. There was this time that light was so bad, I used 500,000 for 2 weeks. I wanted to go crazy. Yes, I literally called them and I said, how? I couldn't believe it. If I didn't have camera installed in my factory, I would have probably told them, no. But it was that bad. So one of the problems we encounter is providing power for ourselves. That's in my field. but some people don't necessarily work with electricity. So when you start up, you're going to definitely face challenges, but you have to persist. You get to a point where you find a way around these things. So during the pandemic, of course, people were not bothered about making clothes. That's another challenge I faced. People were not bothered about making clothes for themselves because there were no events to attend, and people were more concerned about eating than, what to wear.
Yeah.
So at that point, the first month of the pandemic, my staff, I remember they stayed at home and I had to pay them salary that month. Then the next month, I was like, if I don't pay these people, how would they eat? After all, my business was the only place they were working before this pandemic struck. So I had to come up with a way for us to generate funds because I can't be paying them. That would be like spending with nothing coming back in return. So I came up with the idea of producing nose masks. So I said, everybody come back to work. They came back to work. Of course, we had to make sure that they were COVID-free and everything, and we camped in here and we're producing nose masks with the bits and pieces that we had, during production all those whiles. So we're producing nose masks from there. When I started putting the words out there, I did photo shoot, of course, of some of the nose masks I produced with cotton material. And then nose masks was so expensive, and people exhausted these other plastic nose masks and really needed, something more durable because it was almost becoming like something you must need. Something you needed every time you go out. So we had to come up with the idea of using cotton material to produce nose masks, and within 2 months I produced over almost 80,000 nose masks, and we were all doing it from in here. So they were even earning extra commission because we were working almost round the clock. We were getting less than 4 hours sleep because we would go to bed by 4 a.m., wake up by 6. Sometimes we'll go to bed by 2 a.m., wake up by 6, but we had to wake up by 6 every day. So it depends on the order. So I was getting 20,000 order from here. So you have to be creative as a business person, because there will always not be that high moment in your business. There will be low moments. You have to think of what you can do, how you can stay relevant, how you can still make money, because the bills will not stop. The bills will always be piling.
Yes,
that's the truth.
Won't stop.
Even when exactly. When the pandemic stopped, we were still eating. We needed food.
Data, a lot of things.
You. So people had to come up with different other ways to do their businesses, right? So whatever you're doing, you have to at some point get creative. You have to try to align with the times, because times will change. You have to always try to work with the times, with the seasons. So you can't just stay with what you're used to doing. No. So one of the challenges also, like I said, was trying to stay relevant even when the world stopped, because that was what the pandemic did to us. And by the grace of God, after the pandemic, when things started picking up, bit by bit, we also started having issues of inflations, things were so expensive, and the cost of production shot from 0 to 100. How would you explain that to your clients? For a lot of us, I started trying to source my fabrics and my materials direct, so that helped me cut cost. And sometimes if you're unable to also cut cost, I would just advise you find a way around making things easier for your clients, because you want them to patronize you. It's a competition. There are other people out there also trying to do something. So there will always be, based on your question now, there would always be challenges. Despite the one I've faced before, I know there will still be challenges, more to come. But I am ready. I feel like I'm ready for any challenges that comes, with this business, because I love what I do. Yes.
So digress a little, what's your take on the pressure society has on successful women?
I'm sorry, guys. That's it's a little bit sensitive topic, because when you say women, it's like you're making it peculiar to a certain gender, and people there's a
pressure on certain gender. Like a woman, the need for you to keep your well to
Shrink
yourself. Yes, just
to
so a
fit
man,
in and also to
you
be
cannot be
accepted.
same success if
and-
you don't have a man. Like all those things. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot actually. But the truth is, I personally am very focused on building my dream and my life than all that. The thing is, you sometimes when you can stop and stone at every dog that barks at you.
yeah.
And this is just like one of those challenges as a person, as a human. Let's even forget being, a woman. You can't if you get distracted, you just get lost, because there's so much people have to say about you as a person, your success, how you're doing, what you're doing, what you're achieving, or whatever. Personally, I am more focused on achieving my goals, right? If people think I'm not successful because I don't have a man, well, that's their opinion. I don't feel that way. After all, when I was defining success a while ago, I did not say anything about having a man. I just said, for me, the definition of success is somebody who is doing what they love and is great at it. So, am I doing what I love? Hell yes. Am I successful at it? Oh yes. So I don't care about your own definition of success. I'm a successful woman and I am proud of it, and that's what I'm focused on, so that I can focus my energy on building my dream, because I don't want to get distracted at all. There's so much to do.
Okay. So how did you come up with your pricing, and how do you come up with your pricing?
Okay. At the end of the day, your production cost affects or determines what you charge. You can be producing for 100 naira and be charging 80. So if you're producing for 100 naira, and when I say producing for 100 naira, the cost of fabric, what you pay your tailor, everything put together, if your production cost is 100 naira, you can decide to, make 100 naira your profit, like sell at 100% interest.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Some people do 50%, some people do 200%. Now it depends. And sometimes when you're patronizing some people, you're not just patronizing them for just what you're buying, you're patronizing them for their years of experience. That's why you will see Mr. A and B are into fashion. Mr. A is charging 200, while Mr. B is charging 150. And you'll be like, oh, what is the difference? The truth is, Mr. B might have so much experience, and with those years of experience, Mr. B would handle your fabric better. Mr. B will take responsibility if anything goes wrong. Mr. B, has what is it called? The technical know-how, basically, not to ruin your fabric. So you're paying for trust also.
Yeah.
You're paying for trust. You're paying for the wealth of experience, years of experience, for the brand name.
Yeah.
Because there are people you also want to identify with when you're patronizing, someone. Some people want to know, just like you people do now. When you go on Instagram, you look how many followers does this person have before you. Well, some of you are trying to be sure that your fabric is safe with these people and all that. So because of the demand they are getting to, their costing or pricing is also high to also reduce, the kind of pressure. However, if you want to cost your business, check the cost of production and then decide if you want to sell by 100% interest, 50% interest, or 200% interest. But bear in mind that there are competition or competitors out there, or people out there who are willing to give competitive price and can knock you off the market if you are too pricey. Okay? So yeah.
Okay, that's fair. So how did you build your customer base?
From the beginning, I told you I already worked for people and I already had contacts. So I started with my contacts. I started selling to my contacts.
Like you text them and be like, okay, I'm a designer now.
Exactly. And aside texting them and telling them I'm a designer now, I was always putting up what I was doing. So they were seeing, and some of them that I could talk to, yes, I talked to. Some of them you don't talk to directly, but they follow your social media handles and they get to see what you are doing. You get to post and talk about what you're doing. Tell as many people that care to listen Tell them if they don't even want to patronize you, or if they are not ready to patronize you, they can refer people to you. Because the truth is, there are lots of people out there who do not have need for what you're doing right now, but might know someone who has need for it. So yes, you keep talking, and you also sometimes try to give offers, attractive offers that would encourage people to bring clients to you. For instance, I'm sitting at home as a student. For instance, I'm not a student, don't worry. But I'm sitting at home as a student, and I don't have a means of livelihood, like aside schooling, it's my parents that are funding me and everything. But if I should give a client to House 12 Apparel, House 12 Apparel might give me 10%.
Okay.
House 12 Apparel might give me 10% of whatever the client spent or paid. Do you have anything to lose as a student? At the end of the day, you bought data. You're following Gistlover. You're on Instagram, on the street of Instagram, yabbing and trolling.
Did you do this stuff?
Do what stuff?
Like this analysis you're running. Did you do it along the line?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes. Yes. I have coppers who were bringing jobs for me. Because at some point I trained, in Said, or some of you who served recently should know Said. Like, I train core members. So yes, I have coppers who I will say, okay, some of them will say, I want to learn fashion, but I don't have the means, I don't have money, I don't have this. I'll say, no problem, bring people for me. Sometimes if I even make ready to wear, you can come and take and sell and make profits. Yes, you can do that. For you, as a makeup artist, your makeup products, yeah, you can do that. So you can talk to people, to bring you clients, and as they bring you clients, they get certain incentive. Some of them, you may not pay them. Some of them, you can give them good discounts. There are people who love what you do now, but they can't afford you. So now if you tell them, if you can bring me 3 customers, you will get 50% discount. If they can afford 100%, they can afford 50 now. Do you know what it means to get 50% cut out of, somebody's, what is it called? Price? That's a lot. So with that, you can get, they can get to, have a feel of your services, just because they referred people to you. So networking, is very, very important. But a lot of people think networking is just about bringing one person to bring the other person to bring the other person to sell their, No. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, so.
Wow. That was impactful. I've never thought of it. Thank God my pen is here. I've been writing down. Okay. So we are on our last question, and it will be your advice to new entrepreneurs.
Okay. New entrepreneurs, it means you've already started something. Right? Not those who want to start up. Those who have started. Please don't give up. Persist. In my worst year, or in the worst year in my business, was when I made the most money. So I'm trying to say that I made more money during the pandemic than I have made before the pandemic and after the pandemic. Meaning, sometimes things may look like something may look like it's the end of the road. It just might be that your breaking point or breaking moment or breakthrough might be in that moment. Don't give up. There are people who have hustled for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and it was in their 5th or 6th year that they just made it all, and they got compensated for all the struggle, all the hassle, all the tough time, all the frustration from or of their business. So don't give up. Keep improving on your skill. Keep waking up each day with a positive mindset. Keep approaching your business with new ideas, fresh ideas. Keep trying something new. Don't relax. Do not. The world is not waiting for you. Any industry you're in, there are people who do it more than you. Follow them. Try to get knowledge. Don't take for granted anything they say. Take them seriously. And you see this idea of our generation, this Gen Z or woke generation, the way you people troll people. the way you people mess up people's efforts. Like, you have no idea the hard work it took to get to certain points. The way you commonize it, anything that you don't admire, you cannot be. If you see people who have actually become successful, and instead of sharing them, instead of celebrating them, you are bringing them down with your words and all that, it means you don't want to be successful. No, you will not be successful. But when you admire these people, you'll be able, your eyes will be open to the secrets, to the things they are doing to become successful, to the things they are doing that is making them better in what they do. So please keep making yourself better every day. Make sure that every single day there is something that makes you a better person in your field. It is very important. Time is not waiting for you. So if you don't use time wisely, you will lose it. It means you're losing time. And don't give up. Do not give up. Look, there are days I don't feel like leaving bed because my body is tired. My mind cannot even work so well anymore. I go harder. Then when I think I need to rest, I will take the break. Because the truth is, sometimes when you rest, you come back better. So when it's necessary, you can rest. But don't stop. Don't quit. Rest. Do not stop. And do not quit. That is what I have to say to my fellow entrepreneurs.
It was an amazing session. Thank you for being on our channel, Nancy. We really appreciate the whole of my family. We really appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, guys.
So guys, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and also leave your questions in the comment section. I'll be sure to pass it across to Miss Nancy. Thank you and bye.